Welcome to Digital Nation, your weekly tour of the best of local television. We bring you the stories you don't normally see, from the balmy Worthing Birdman to Bristol's historical heroes brought back to life. And we check out the Edinburgh Festival's revival of a 90s gunge-based icon. So, where first on this journey of digital discovery? We begin at Made in Tyne and Wear, where we discover exactly which shade of grey is the new black. Good news, this is a hot new trend in hair colour that means no more worrying about those little grey hairs.
All that's in the magazines at the minute is the grey hair look.
Everything grey.
How long has this been in fashion?
Well, we've moved on, Hazel, from the ombre, which has been around for so long, and then all of a sudden the grey look's in. Girls are coming in wanting the grey hair from 50 Shades of Grey, from light grey to dark grey. Zayn from One Direction goes grey, and all of a sudden every guy and his dog wants to come in and go grey. It's the hottest trend at the moment. Everything's about grey hair. It works in with the fashion that's in for the autumn winter, which is it's a softer colour on the head, and then the darker colours through with the clothes.
Now, how long did it take? Does it matter if your hair's dark beforehand or light beforehand?
Well, you know, we can work from dark hair to get it grey. Obviously, it's a longer process, but if you've got lighter hair, it's a lot easier because what you're doing is you're just then adding a tone. For a pre-lightened hair, it's much easier. We add in the grey tone. If you're darker, we've got to pre-lighten first and then put the grey tone through. But it's definitely the hottest trend.
And Johnny, how do you feel about going grey one morning?
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, definitely.
Were you not a bit frightened?
Not at all. When Neville said to me about going grey, I was 100% on board.
Were you?
Yeah, I was keeping up with the trends.
So when you walk down the street, is everyone like, that guy is cool?
Yeah. I don't know.
Now to STV Glasgow to meet Dr. Jim Hunter, Director of Music at the Kelvingrove Museum. He shows us the engine and motor of the amazing organ on which he plays his daily recitals. If you want culture and red socks, come to Glasgow.
Well, here we're standing in Kelvingrove Art Gallery, one of the most famous art galleries in the world, and behind us is one of the most famous organs in the world, the Kelvingrove Organ, built by T.C. Lewis in 1901. I started playing the piano when I was age 4, and I started playing the organ in a village church, which was water pumped. So I've been at it, well, many years. First of all, it's got 3 keyboards. Now, all the keyboards do is give you a different selection of what's called stops. Organs are no good as decorative objects, even in galleries. They've got to be played. The important thing is it's bringing the organ alive, and it's bringing the museum alive. Well, this is the main engine room, if you like, of the organ. And here we have the motor powering the main unit of the organ. Nearly 3,000 stops. People, when they think of organ music, they think one thing, church. But we are not a church organ. We are a concert organ. We play all sorts of music. We are also the only place in the world where we have video cameras showing the action of the organ, showing the action of the player at the keyboard, and importantly, showing his feet. If you want to hear a gun being fired, you go to Edinburgh. If you want culture, come to Glasgow.
Now we take a trip to Latest TV. And by the looks of it, there are a few people tripping over themselves to get in the record books in an attempt to become the official international Birdman of Worthing. And remember, don't try this at home or the seaside.
Well, it's been pandemonium here at Worthing Seafront today. People have flocked down to the pier for one of Sussex's most outrageous competitions, the Birdman.
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Well, this weekend it was both, as the Birdman competition saw hundreds of people throw themselves off Worthing Pier in the hope of claiming the 2015 Birdman title. The winner was Tony Hughes, who travelled 106.5 metres in 11.9 seconds on Saturday in aid of Wiltshire Air Ambulance. Last year's winner, Ron Freeman, finished further down the pecking order after only mustering 59.9 metres, while I managed to grab a word with Ron as he explained what was going through his head at that crucial moment.
I think I only had about a minute left to go before I decided to jump, and the wind got up to 4 knots. Took off, really got flying pretty early, and I was amazed how fast the glider was flying. So you build the speed up to get down over the water, then you skim over the water like a seagull, just to minimise the drag. So I just looked across to the right to check my wing was clear. And as I looked back, there was just this wall of water came from nowhere. But it was just literally like flying into a brick wall.
We've had a couple of Leonardo flights. These are the self-build craft, people that have built their craft. We had one of those that flew over 80 metres. And then we had the fun flyers earning a lot of money for charity. One gentleman up there, £1,200 already raised.
So, how much do you know about where you live? Well, there's one thing to be sure of. We live in a truly creative kingdom.
So you reckon that the modern Olympics started in Athens, or that it was invented by the French? The real home of the five-ring circus is none other than Shropshire. In 1850, a magistrate called William Penny Brooks wanted to give the farmhands of Shropshire something a bit more productive to do on their nights off. There was athletics, there was cricket, there was quoits, there was blindfold wheelbarrow racing, there was knitting, there was even an older woman's race for a pound of tea. William Penny Brooks, the father of the modern Olympics, until Baron de Coubertin nicked the idea off him, because when it comes to innovation, creativity and being as good as gold, in Shropshire Mint.
Next up, we meet Isambard Kingdom Brunel, a mechanical and civil engineer who changed the face of the English industrial landscape. And for a gentleman born in 1806, he hasn't changed a bit.
We're always doing new things. I mean, just this weekend I'm doing some behind-the-scenes tours in collaboration with Temple Meads, because it's the 175th anniversary of my station there. And so people can have a look underground in the station before riding on the ferry and coming to meet me here at the ship, and then I'll give them a special behind-the-scenes tour with the man himself.
If people are coming along on your secret tours, is there anything sort of up your sleeve that you think might really wow them?
Ooh, well, what I'll be doing is I'll be letting them into a few tidbits about the new museum that we're building here on site, the Being Brunel project. It's going to be a new £7 million museum dedicated to my good self, and I'll be giving them an insider's view in some of the exciting things that will be coming here in the next year, 2 years.
How does it feel to see people still enjoying today some of the works that Isambard Kingdom Brunel has sort of created?
It's wonderful. It's a real privilege. I mean, we have such a rich and varied history in this country, and so much of it here from Bristol. And it never fails to amaze me. You can get children as young as 5 who have learnt about me at school, and visitors who are 105, and all of them have that passion for Brunel's story and his inventions. Because, of course, well, my works help bring in the modern world, and so much of it started here from Bristol that we can be very, very proud of our heritage here.
Blue Sky Thinking is a charity supporting child cancer research and was set up by Sally Hall when her son Sky tragically died aged 5 after a battle with a brain tumour. The charity is aiming high, very high, so check out this world record attempt using those little plastic looms used to weave bracelets. That's Oxford Reports.
Sally Hall speaks about their world record attempt for the longest loom band. The effort is being done for their charity Blue Sky Thinking, and Sally revealed where the attempt will be held.
A local business has offered us use of their 3,500 square metre warehouse, which you've inspected, haven't you? It's about this big.
That
bigger than that.
What?
And we're going to lay out all the loom bands, and it has to all be done very officially. No S-clips allowed. It's all got to be seamlessly joined.
Sally went on to estimate the current length of their loom band.
Our virtual measurements were in the region of about 30,000 metres, which is an awful lot. But Guinness will be the adjudicators, and that's when we will be officially announcing just how much we've got.
And do you know what the world record is now? What have you got to beat?
Well, Guinness are obviously quite cagey about everything in terms of their record attempts being done all the time. I think the current record for a team-made elastic band is about 30,000, we're really hopeful that we will, we will get the world record for, not just for Skye, not just for Jessie, but there are children in the John Radcliffe Hospital and other hospitals who have all been contributing and all feel part of it.
The work to get the world record is not over yet, as Sally explained her need for more volunteers.
I have batches of looms like this that have got the little S-clips in, and it's a laborious task, but if anybody wants to come and take a batch and sit in the evening removing the S-clips and joining the bands and then presenting them to me in really user-friendly bobbins for our little factory setup, and I think it's safe to say that this world record attempt would not be possible without the help of everybody so far, and probably we still need more help.
So if you want to be part of breaking a world record for a fantastic cause, then contact the Blue Sky Thinking charity. Craig Punfield, that's Oxford.
That's it for part 1. But before we go, it's quiz time. Italian football club Juventus owe their black and white striped kit to which UK football club? Is it A, Newcastle United, B, Notts County, or C, Grimsby Town? Welcome back to Digital Nation. Before the break, we asked you, Italian football club Juventus owe their black and white striped kit to which UK football club? The answer is B, Notts County, who lent them a set of jerseys in 1890. Shakespeare once said it's the food of love. And at Cambridge TV, we find out there really is no limit to the caring benefits of music.
A new study carried out across 2 Methodist homes by Anglia Ruskin University has found that one-to-one music therapy can improve both the well-being and symptoms of dementia patients.
Sometimes people with dementia appear to be frustrated, and that can be interpreted as, behaving in a difficult way. But often, if you really sort of explore that, they might be uncomfortable. They may be in pain, or they may need attention in some way. And so we can sort of meet that in a musical way. And sometimes people's language and speech is triggered by the flow of the music. So the music begins and singing might begin, and then a person might suddenly talk in a whole sentence when normally in ordinary conversation they find that difficult.
I see Mum at her regular music and dance group. I take her there in a mobility van, and I return 2 hours later, and I see a changed Pauline. I see she's livelier, she's more engaged, she's happier, she's smiling. I've seen the evidence of things happening in the brain being stimulated.
In some areas, there are music therapists who are funded by the Alzheimer's Society, and in other areas it's more, it really depends where you live, and which isn't right. I mean, my view is that there should be equal access for all people with dementia.
It may be some time before music therapy becomes more widely available, but the research could help to raise awareness about the need to improve quality of life for dementia patients in care homes.
Over now to London Live, to learn how to trick huge and tiny animals into being weighed. From rare Bactrian camels to heavyweight tortoises and a pregnant sloth. No one escapes the weigh-in at London Zoo.
Not all of the animals are very easy to weigh or perhaps very willing to be weighed, so we have to trick some of them into it. We have to come up with different ways of measuring animals that wouldn't necessarily sit still. Behind me here we've got Dirk, a Galapagos tortoise, who's actually being weighed on a hidden scale. It's disguised underneath a patch of grass in his paddock, so he quite unwittingly walks onto the scales and gets weighed on a regular basis for us. We were actually able to detect the pregnancy of a sloth this year through measurement. So we used a very simple tape measure to measure her expanding waistline over the year. And that was the only way we could tell that our female sloth was pregnant. And we had a wonderful baby sloth born a few weeks ago.
So this is Max. He's a Eurasian eagle owl. He's 21 years old. He can live up to 60 years in captivity. He's been at the zoo for about 10 years. He's quite a good bird, so it is relatively easy. We do weigh him on a daily basis, as opposed to a lot of things that get weighed once a month. So he's used to the whole process.
Behind us we've got Mick. He's one of our senior keepers here at London Zoo, and he's weighing Noemi, and she's our female Bactrian camel. And they're very rare in the wild, the Bactrian camel. So having them here on site is really important. They're a great ambassador to tell the members of the public what's going on over in Mongolia. But more importantly, we need to make sure they're healthy. So every month they do get a weigh-in, and every year as well we get that record written down. Obviously camels have big humps, which is where they store their fat. So rather than it just being around their tummies like you might imagine on other animals, they get it in their humps. And if you have a look at some camels, sometimes their humps are really large and really small depending on how much they've eaten.
In Liverpool, Bay TV shows us how when residents pull together they can really change the face of their local area. Here's a group who have transformed an area once written off as a no-go zone into an allotment heaven.
In June this year, part of the Parkhill Recreation Ground in Dingle was transformed into plots for people to grow their own food, and was the first community allotment to be created in Liverpool in 70 years.
Going back about 2 years, there were some derelict plots in the north of the city in Fazakerley which hadn't been used for 20 years or more, and that land was identified as being a suitable site to build new schools. But councils have a legal requirement, if they're decommissioning allotments, to do a like-for-like replacement, and we knew that in the south of the city there was a waiting list of hundreds of people who wanted allotments. If you like, the council providing the initiative, but then basically it's local people taking over and running the show, and that's how allotments should be.
Despite the transformation in full swing with a plethora of fresh produce grown throughout the allotment, like any other start-up business, there were some real obstacles along the way.
We had difficulties in so much that there was no mains water on site for quite some time. People were bringing their own water on site from supermarkets and various other places. I only live local, so I was bringing stuff from home, water in whatever containers, old milk cartons and everything else. But nobody moaned. Nobody.
We've got a training plot, so we have a qualified gardener come up, and he spends half a day a week here, not only kind of planting stuff himself, but he's there to give advice and guidance for any of the plot holders who are having a go.
We used to play football up here, so that's what it was, you know what I mean? I've always been up on this field all my life, playing football, and then now that we've got the allotments, I'm up here even more.
So what do you make of the transformation from when you were playing football to what it is now?
It's not as many as the kids can get up here now, know what I mean? They've still got the park over there, like, but it is good. It's good for the environment as well, good for the community. Get to meet some new faces, you know what I mean?
So I see the whole site becoming bigger. We would just want it to be more of a community. So, I think people will be happy with that because it's enough.
Not being able to sing is no longer a problem. In fact, it's an asset. You can now find fame in Manchester's lip sync battle arena. Here's That's Manchester to tell us more.
It's basically, as it is, lip sync battle. So basically what we have 10, 12 contestants who actually lip sync one of their favourite songs. And then they act it out either as, you know, massively as they want or as little as they want, and then the audience go, yeah, we like that one.
I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be nervous when I know it's my turn to go on. I think I know the lyrics, but when you get up there, because we're not singers, we're comedians.
for a night out with the lads, with the ladies, you know what I mean? All the girls want to come out for a laugh. You know, instead of singing in front of your mirror and your airbrush, get on stage, do it in front of an audience, but lip sync it and play it out.
Now, some previously unseen footage from the Aberdare races aired for the first time on What's Occurring Cardiff. Motorcycle racing started in Aberdare in the early 1950s, with hair-raising speeds reaching 49 miles per hour. Over in Edinburgh, TV's DBP took to the festival stage with his Gunge Tank to bring the 90s hit kids show Get Your Own Back to a somewhat older audience.
Well, my name is Benson Phillips and I'm hosting Get Your Own Back Live.
And now get ready to welcome two stars, Ewan and Jennifer!
We have basic elements from the show, which are the games, of course. We have grown-ups as well, and the gunge. Those are the 3 Gs, and we have that in abundance.
One of the team members will be standing at the tables here and stacking up the cups. The other team member has to go and get the cups.
It is for everyone, and funnily enough, at the Fringe, we've had the most unusual thing happen. Being a children's show, there are not many children in the audience. It's just literally wall-to-wall grown-ups who, as children, watched Get Your Own Back, and they've now grown up and they've become adults themselves. Some have even become parents. So we do have the odd parent who comes in with the child, but primarily, it's a room full of adults.
Something a woman wears that you don't see. 3, 2, 1, go!
It's actually really quite weird to watch when you go out there because you're expecting to hear children's voices and I'm going, hi kids, how you doing? And there's just grown people going, yeah! And it's hysterical, it's brilliant.
Look, it's a bra! I would have actually accepted perfume, that was what I was looking for.
With 80 points on the blues, got 130 points on the yellows.
We'd like to have the sliding gunge tank, but alas, due to sort of logistics, we have my personal portable one that we used a very long time ago when we were creating this whole thing. And so we used that, and it throws down up to 200 litres of gunge.
2, 1, pull that lever, get it up!
And that concludes our roundup of the best of local telly from across the UK. If you've enjoyed this week's TV clips, there's plenty more you can see by visiting the independent channel's on-demand services. And that hopefully should keep you going until next week, when we'll be bringing you more local telly highlights in Digital Nation.